So this is gonna be how you get your ex-narcissist back. And this is gonna be toxic advice. Not everyone should go back to a narcissist. You gotta remember that when people hurt you again and again, that isn't love. But sometimes people have to learn things the hard way. Sometimes people have to learn things by experiencing them. When I was finally able to let go of the narcissist, it's because I had gone back to them so many times. And the last time they discarded me was so humiliating, was so soul crushing that it made me, it forced me to, because I still wanted them, right? I still wanted this person, but that discard was so brutal that I forced myself to get over them and start the process of healing and letting go. But if we're trying to be toxic and get back with our ex narcissist or ex anybody really, these techniques are really good. Like they've always worked for me. And the first one is you have to go no contact or you have to really make them miss you, right? If someone broke up with you, it means at least in this very moment, whatever you have to offer them, they don't want it and they've made it very obvious by breaking up with you. The narcissist has this very strong abandonment anxiety, and if they're willing to abandon you, then that means that they're really stuck in their ways. But they're also very impulsive. A narcissist is really led by their ID, which, if you've never heard about Freudian psychology, it's the ID, the ego, and the superego. The ID is that part of ourselves, that unconscious part of ourselves that drives us, right? When you get when you get hungry and your body starts thinking about food, that's your ID. When you see somebody and you're really attracted to them and you just impulsively go up to them and talk to them, that's your ID. So we have to appeal to this part of the narcissist, and because of the way their mind works, they have what is called, like, sometimes a harem garage, or just it's this snapshot of people they have inside of their head. And because of their dysfunctional personality disorder, because of the way their mind works, they always have this image of you in their head. Sometimes they think about it more than other times, but this is why they hoover. This is why they have this approach avoid attachment style. They need to, they think you belong to them. And to soothe their anxiety at times, they're going to hoover you even when they don't necessarily want you. But if the goal is to get them back, you have to distance yourself from them. You have to let that abandonment anxiety increase and increase. But if that doesn't work, you can do the second thing, and it ties in. These all kind of tie into each other, but you have to appeal to the narcissist wants, right? They're very egotistical and they're very shallow people, and they want shallow things, right? A lot of them want a very attractive partner. They want money, status, all of those typical things we associate with being a narcissist. But you have to see what do they want? Do they want a really attractive partner? Do they want money? So you're gonna level up. You gotta level yourself up according to their wants and needs, and then you're gonna hoover them. You're gonna work on yourself, do whatever you have to do to gain the things that you believe the narcissist wants out of you, and then hoover them. Post it on social media. Do make flying monkeys if you have mutual friends. Have them, or just tell them. The best way would be to just tell those friends, and then they'll probably relay the information to the narcissist, or just be direct. Tell your flying monkeys, which might be the same flying monkeys the narcissist has. Tell them to tell the narcissist that you leveled up, that you've gotten all the things that they probably left you for, right? They probably left you because you didn't have those things, and now you have them. And that's like candy to a narcissist. Narcissists are honestly very easy to manipulate. They're very gullible because they're low level people. And it's easy to impress low level employees. And if we're being really toxic, you might not even have to wait for the level up. You can just lie, right? Like, a lot of people lie about their achievements and goals like a narcissist, but you're doing it it's toxic. It's toxic advice, but you can just have the fakeness. You can fake being like, you can make like a fake Instagram and fake that you went to like all these places that narcissists went, or just fake it and get them back, and maybe you're gonna have to see. You're gonna have to go through these cycles with a narcissist sometimes to see that they're really not about anything, and you're probably not gonna want them back once you get them back. The thing about hanging out with narcissists is we kind of get some of their qualities and we end up kind of being narcissistic ourselves, and that's what a narcissist does. They're like a baby that is sick of playing with a toy, so they throw it away, or they want that toy back, especially if they see someone else. That's another thing you could do. Try to make them jealous. Get a better looking partner than them, or whatever, like I said earlier, a richer partner than them, whatever it is that your narcissist appeals to. Get a partner that has those qualities and show them off in front of the narcissist, and like it's gonna hurt their inner child, and like a child, they're gonna want their toy back, and this is when they're gonna try to get you back. One of the best techniques I've found for getting people who are pretty narcissistic back is to have the hot and cold method, where you go cold on them for a while, and then kind of like you're training them like an animal. That sounds terrible to say, but you go cold on them, and then you give them a bit of this is what the narcissist does. You give them a bit of affection, and then you go cold on them again. But eventually, when you've got them, you're gonna feel, when you've got them on the hook, you're gonna give them an ultimatum. You're gonna show up and get them to meet up with you, or if you can't do that, get them to be on the phone. But it's best in person, and you're gonna give them an ultimatum. You're gonna tell them, "I want you, and if you want to be with me, you have to make a decision." And depending on the type of person, a lot of this you have to gauge. You have to read the room, and you have to gauge what's going to work best. You could try to make him make the decision right then and there. And this last bit of advice ties into all the previous, and that's make them depend on you. Whatever your narcissist needs, give it to them, but put them in a situation where you can only give them this. And this is true of healthy and dysfunctional relationships. When you give someone things they can't get anywhere else, which you probably can, which you're a genuine person, even though you're watching a video like this, you can give genuine love and empathy, and that's rare in this world. And a narcissist, narcissists love that. But whatever it might be material things, give them somewhere to stay, something that not everyone is just going to give, free rent to someone. Whatever it might be, make them depend on you, and this will at least make the situation last, if that's what you're really looking after. My last words to you are, this is toxic advice, and it is going to work. I've been fortunate enough to meet some very wise and smart people throughout my life, and they've given me good advice, but I wanted to be my own person. I wanted to go out there and make my own mistakes. And while it would have been better to learn from those wise people, when you don't experience things firsthand, because you can read a book, right? You can read a book on brain surgery, but if you never actually, and you could, understand it fully, but if you never go out and do it, you're never going to really, really understand it. And that's how all this stuff I think works. I think that's just how life works. If it's safe, because some narcissists are very dangerous, but if it's safe, just go out there and repeat those mistakes again and again until it might be the best way. It might be the quickest way. I probably would have held on to the narcissist longer than I was supposed to if I wouldn't have just kept trying and kept trying. If I would have just ruminated on them and not gone back to them, I might have just been stuck in that situation forever, like a lot of people unfortunately are. But ultimately, when people are done with you, narcissist or not, they're just done with you. And if those techniques that I just told you aren't working, then it's probably just it's not meant to be.